Enterprise security is shifting fast. The challenge is no longer just finding threats, but coordinating decisions across tools, teams, and time. In this course, we'll explore how agentic AI can support faster, governed, and more unified defense. Here's how we'll move through the course. We'll start with the foundations of agentic AI and security, then look at architectures that connect defenses, move into hands-on workflow implementation, and finish with governance, risk, and strategy. Expect roughly 10 to 16 hours depending on labs and review. That sequence matters because agentic security cannot start with tools alone. First, we need shared definitions for agent, autonomy, context, and control. From there, we turn concepts into architectures, and architectures into operational workflows. Finally, we examine governance and defense, because trust must be supervised. The progression is simple. Understand the capability, design it responsibly, run it safely, and improve the system around it. As you move through the course, use it actively. If you're newer to the topic, focus on the foundations first. If you're more experienced, target the modules most relevant to your role. Along the way, keep asking, how would this design work, fail, and be supervised in my environment? The key shift is this. Automation follows a predefined path. It works best when the situation is known, the inputs are predictable, and the response should be consistent every time. Agentic defense adds adaptability. An agent can perceive evidence, reason about context, plan a next step, and act through tools or APIs. The goal is not to replace automation, but to understand when fixed playbooks are enough and when adaptation is required. Security operations already has a strong automation foundation. SIEM rules turn telemetry into alerts. SOAR playbooks coordinate predefined response steps. Scripts and runbooks capture repeatable tasks, so teams can execute them consistently. This is powerful when the logic is clear and the outcome is predictable. It reduces manual effort, but it typically follows fixed paths rather than reasoning through uncertainty. Classic security automation is built from three practical pieces: playbooks that execute response steps, runbooks that guide analysts, and integrations that let tools exchange evidence and actions. In a predictable workflow, this works well. Enrich an indicator, check an endpoint, open a ticket, notify someone, or block an artifact. The trade-off is rigidity. Every branch, exception, threshold, and escalation path must be anticipated before the workflow can handle it. What makes an AI system agentic is the loop. It does not just match an alert to a playbook. It perceives signals from sources like logs, tickets, EDR data, and asset context. It reasons over evidence, uncertainty, and possible causes. It plans the next best step, then acts through approved tools or APIs. After each action, it observes the result and adjusts. The goal drives the work, while policy and guardrails define what is allowed. Autonomy is a dial, not an on-off setting. At the advisory level, the agent explains findings and recommends next steps, but people decide. Assisted agents may prepare tickets or response actions for approval. With supervised execution, the agent can act, but only inside narrow, pre-approved boundaries. High autonomy should be reserved for low-risk, repeatable situations with strong audit trails. As freedom increases, so must confidence, governance, business impact review, and accountability. An agent should never be treated like a trusted employee with unlimited discretion. It needs a defined operating box, which tools it may use, what data it can touch, and which actions require approval. For high-impact steps, keep a human in the loop. For accountability, log reasoning, evidence, tool calls, decisions, and outcomes. When confidence drops, evidence conflicts, or business impact is unclear, the safest behavior is escalation, not improvisation. It helps to separate three patterns. Automation is the narrowest. When a known trigger occurs, run a predefined action. Orchestration links multiple automated actions across systems, but the workflow is still mostly known in advance. Agents change the model by interpreting context, choosing next steps, and adapting when the path is unclear. That flexibility is useful, but it also makes guardrails, monitoring, and human supervision essential. Consider a suspicious login followed by unusual cloud API calls and strange endpoint activity. The evidence is split across IAM, cloud logs, EDR, the SIEM, and tickets. A rule-based workflow may stop at one alert or generate noise. An agentic approach can gather the fragments, reason across tools, connect identity to behavior, and rank what matters. That compresses investigation time while giving analysts a more consistent response path. Use agentic AI when the work cannot be fully scripted. If a task is repetitive and predictable, standard automation is usually better. If the steps are known but span several systems, orchestration may be enough. Agents become valuable when they need to investigate, pull context from many sources, adapt as conditions change, and reason through uncertainty. Start with supervised low-risk use cases like triage, enrichment, summarization, or guided response. Expand only when the value and guardrails are clear. The best security design is not always the most autonomous one. If a workflow is simple, stable, and deterministic, traditional automation will often be faster, cheaper, and easier to audit. Be especially careful with actions that can disrupt the business, such as disabling accounts, isolating endpoints, or changing firewall rules. And never use an agent to hide messy data, unclear ownership, or missing policy. Fix the foundation first. The core takeaway is balance. Traditional automation still handles predictable work well. Agentic AI extends that foundation by perceiving context, reasoning, planning, and acting under uncertainty. The key is governance. Match autonomy to risk, supervision, permissions, and auditability. Next, we'll examine where AI agents fit across the enterprise security stack.